Today we're going to crochet this lovely Rose Bouquet Coaster. As you can see, it features a lovely coaster where you can sit your cup on top and you have these beautiful blooming roses to the side. Now there will be 12 roses total, so it's a bouquet of 12 or of a dozen roses, and you can also easily turn this coaster into a bouquet by folding it up into quarters and tying the stem portion of these flowers with a ribbon. So it's a versatile pattern, very cute, very dainty, and you're gonna love that there are two different variations here. You can make a smaller rosebud by doing just round one of the flowers. This is a young rosebud that's just budding and looks quite adorable, folded up into a bouquet. And alternatively, if you want to make the larger rosebud, you just continue on with round two of the flower section and you'll create these lovely little petals. All right, and be sure to follow along with my written pattern on my blog. I do have a pattern for a little basket as well if you want to add a little basket to this project. It works really well for the smaller rosebud coaster because you can just kind of stick it right into the basket or the flower pot, and it looks adorable on any windowsill or on a desk. This pattern is great as a gift for Mother's Day, for birthdays, for Christmas gifts, as thank you gifts, teacher appreciation. These also serve as great craft fair products. And if you'd like to sell the finished item made from my patterns, I just ask that you credit me by my name and site. For example, pattern design by Sweet Softies, sweetsofties.com. All right, now let's get into it. For materials, you really don't need too much. You just need 2 or 3 different colors of sport weight number 2 yarn. I'm using green for the coaster or the stem portion of my flower. I'm using this reddish color for my flower and also this pinkish color for my flower. You can use just one color for all your flowers if you'd like, or if you want to have an assortment of different colors, feel free to do that too. Other than the yarn, you just need a 3.25 millimeter hook and a pair of scissors. We are going to start off the coaster with round 1, and we're going to begin with a magic ring. In the magic ring, you're going to chain 4 to start. So here I'm making my slip knot to begin my chain, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 chains. And what this does is it creates our starting double crochet and chain. So it's going to count as the first stitch. Now we're going to insert a double crochet and a chain, and we're going to repeat this all the way around 11 times until we get a total of 12 double crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces. Let's go ahead and keep working along. So counting from the first one, that's 1, here's 2, and then 3 double crochets, chain, 4 double crochets, chain, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we're going to now tighten the ring. And what you'll do at this very end here is you're going to join the round with a slip stitch to the right in between the first starting chain and the double crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook into this space right here and make a slip stitch. And that finishes up my round for round 1. Now let's begin round number 2. For round 2, we're going to start with 3 chains. And these 3 chains are going to act as the first double crochet. What you're going to do next is you're going to insert a double crochet in that same chain 1 space that you started from. So going right in here. Then we're going to go make a chain, and then we're going to insert 2 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. So that's 1 and 2 double crochets. Then chain, and we're basically going to repeat the sequence around. So insert 2 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. Make a chain, and then repeat around. 2 double crochets, make a chain, repeat. After you've gone all the way around with that repetition, you are just going to finish off the round by joining with a slip stitch to the top of the starting chain. So I'm joining to the top of that chain 3 that we began with. And this closes off the round for round 2. Now let's move on to round 3. For round 3, we're going to kind of work our way over to the first chain space here. So we're going to insert a slip stitch in that next stitch. It's a double crochet. Then we're going to insert a slip stitch in the chain space. All right, so now that we're in that first chain space, we're going to begin working round 3 here with 3 chains to start. 1, 2, 3. Again, the starting chain counts as the first double crochet. Then you're going to insert 2 double crochets into that same chain gap or the same chain space. So you'll see here we have sort of like 3 tall stitches. And then you're going to make a chain. And we're basically going to repeat the sequence around, but instead of a chain in that next chain space, you're going to insert 3 double crochets, then chain, then 3 double crochets in the next chain space, and chain, and all the way around. So let me show you a bit. We're going to go into that next chain space, and then do 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. Make a chain, go into the next chain space, 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. Make a chain, go into the next chain space, and continue working this sequence all the way around. Here is a look at round 3 with having the repetition done all the way around. After you make your final 3 double crochets and chain, we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the starting chain 3. So here I'm going to pull through for a slip stitch, like so. And we're all done with round number 3. Let's move on to round number 4. For round 4, we're going to work our way over to that first chain space. So we're going to basically slip stitch in the next 2 stitches here. And in that first chain space, we're going to make 1 single crochet. And then what you're going to do is chain 5, and then we're going to single crochet in the next chain gap or the chain space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. And then we're going to insert our hook into the first or into the next chain space and make a single crochet. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. Then go into the next chain space and single crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. Go into the next chain space and single crochet. When you reach the very end with your last chain 5, you're going to simply join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet that you made in the round. So here I'm doing a slip stitch to join, and you should have a cute little doily going on. You'll see that there are 12 different chain 5 gaps in your surrounding your circle, and that's that for round number 4. Let's begin round 4. For round 4, we're going to slip stitch into the next chain 5 space. So let's start with that slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do a sequence of double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and double crochet, chain. That's going to be 4 double crochets and 4 chains total. So that's 1 chain, 2 double crochets, chain, 3 double crochets, chain, and 4 double crochets. Sorry about that. 4 double crochets and chain. Then you're going to chain 2 more and slip stitch in that same chain 5 space. So that's how your little ridge should look for round number 5. We're going to repeat this around for all 12 of these chain 5 spaces. We're going to go into that next chain 5 space and make a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 3 and then do the double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain. We're going to have those 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets in the center. Then add 2 more chains and slip stitch in that same chain 5 space. And let's keep working around. In the next chain 5 space, we're going to slip stitch and 3 chains to start. Then it's double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, 2 more chains, and slip stitch in that chain 5 space. Let's work around and we will meet at the end of round number 5. Here I've gone all the way around for round 5, and you'll see these beautiful petals come to shape. Now, to finish off the round, we're simply going to do a slip stitch to join the round, and I'm going into that first stitch we made there. Then you can fasten off with a tail, and you are going to weave in the ends of that tail. The next part is the flowers. You've got the coaster all done now, and you are ready to begin the next section. After you have finished your lovely coaster, you are ready to start on the flower section. So go ahead and pick whichever color you want to use for the flower. The flowers will go, well, each flower is going to go on top of these little bumps here. So we'll end up with 12 flowers around this coaster, and each flower will be attached and fastened off at the end of the flower. So you are able to use a variety of different colors if you want, without having to really change yarn colors in between. You're just starting and fastening off for each flower. So I'm going with this reddish color for my flower here. And go ahead and pick any petal you want to start on. I'm just going to choose this bump right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to first insert your hook into the first chain space between the starting chain here and the double crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook right in between there. And I'm going to attach the flower color yarn. Then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to insert 4 double crochets into the same chain space. Here's what it'll look like. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that you have the 4 double crochets in that chain space, you're going to pull your loop up a bit. What we're going to do next is something called a popcorn stitch. If you're unfamiliar with it, I'm going to show you the step-by-step instructions right now. You're going to want to make your active loop nice and tall so we don't lose it. Then you're going to insert your hook in between the first chain and the first double crochet you made. So I'll show you again, just in between the starting chain and the double crochet. And you're going to take that active loop and you're going to pull it through the starting chain and double crochet. When you do that, your double crochets get bundled together, and that's what we call a popcorn stitch. Now, we're going to close the popcorn by making a chain. That secures it, and we're going to work in the next chain space. Oh, I'm so sorry, not chain space. We're going to work in the next space between the double crochets. There's no chain there, so just insert 4 double crochets between that space. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And pull up a long loop for your to get ready for that popcorn stitch. This time you're going to insert your hook in between the first popcorn and the 4 double crochets you made. So I'm going in between that space, grabbing the active loop and pulling it through to make a second popcorn. You've got those stitches bundled up together, and make sure it's tight. Make a chain. Let's keep working along. So in that next space between the 2 double crochets, I'm going to insert my 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull up that active loop, insert my hook in between the double crochets and the previous popcorn, pull my loop through, make a chain to secure it. Got my 3 popcorns going on here. Let's keep going. You're going to end up with 5 popcorns in the end because there are 5 spaces between these double crochets. So you're just pulling through, that active loop. And here's my last one going into that last double crochet or last space. finishing off that popcorn. Now, here's what your piece will look like with 5 cute little popcorns. And we're going to actually bundle them together. See how they make a nice little flower like that? What you're gonna do is take your loop and you're gonna go into slip stitch between the first 2 popcorns you made. So in that chain 1 space that you made, you're going to insert your hook, go into the hole of the flower. Oops. When you insert your hook, you're going to kind of be pushing those 5 parts of the flower together. So I'm putting my hook through the hole in order to make that slip stitch to join. Once you've joined it, you'll see that your popcorn stitches are pushed together in this bundle of 5 popcorn stitches. So instead of being in a row, they are now joined together like so. And that's that for the first part of the flower. And I did want to note that if you want your flowers looking like little rosebuds, like so, you just need to fasten off at this point and weave in the ends. And then you're going to repeat this flower on the other 11 petals or bumps of this coaster. And if you do want to add additional petals to this flower, we're going to now move on to step 2 of the flowers. All right, so for this next step, what you'll do is make a chain. And we're going to be, I'm going to show you how to do a petal. Each petal is going to go in between those popcorn stitches. Remember how you made the chains in between the popcorns? That's the space you'll work into. So we're going to put 2 petals between each popcorn. With the 5 popcorns out, you'll end up with 10 petals. Now, after you make a chain, you're going to make 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, then chain and slip stitch back into the same stitch. Let's make the second petal, chain, double crochet into that same chain space, double crochet again, chain, and slip stitch. So that does it for the 2 petals. Let's move on to the next chain space. In the next chain space, we're going to start off with a slip stitch. And then you're going to make a chain, insert 2 double crochets, make a chain, and slip stitch back in the chain space. Let's do our second petal, chain, 2 double crochets, chain, slip stitch in the same stitch. Now you've got 2 petals in that same chain space. Time to move on to the next one. Slip stitch in the next chain space, chain, double crochet twice, chain, slip stitch. Let's make another petal. And again, you're going to keep working all the way around. You can go ahead and fasten off with a tail. You're going to be using this tail to weave in later. And here is what the flower looks like. All right, and that's that for the flower. What you'll do is you are going to repeat this flower instruction the part 1 and part 2 if you want, or you can do just part 1 for a cute little rosebud. You're going to repeat this around for each of these bumps on the coaster. Once you are finished, you just need to weave in all the ends. Feel free to use different colors. The different yarn colors will give you a very colorful and vivid bouquet.